My name is Shannon, and you're watching another yarn. I am out here in the Colorado beautiful evening, and for being in a climate that is considered high desert, we have gotten a lot of rain. I fully expect to be rained out because coming home, I could see at a distance. And Colorado, you can see that. You can see it coming down off at a distance in sheets, and it's just not quite to you yet. I am staring at some darker clouds that are, hi Fireball, how you doing? I am staring at some darker clouds that are behind my camera right now and lighter ones this way. So yeah, I fully expect to be rained out. This little guy right here, hi, this little guy right here is deathly afraid of storms. This is Arlo. He's about a year and a half. He's our puppy. He is very much afraid of storms and the thunder and the lightning, and he's just going nuts right now. He's like, come on, Mom. Let me see if I can turn this. Hi, Carrie. How you doing? Let's see if I can turn this. You can see the different colors of the sky. Like right here, it's so bright and beautiful. And then you go just a little bit that way and you got some darker clouds going on. You can see it's raining off in a distance. So we'll see how long I can be out here. I just prefer it outside. It's so nice. Come on, buddy. Come on. I did learn from last time. I poured myself a nice cup of coffee and I left it in the house because this little guy says it's all his. He got into coffee when he was a little younger, decided he's addicted to it, which we had no problems with until we realized that coffee's not really good for dogs. I mean, don't we all do weird things like that and then find out? So, too late, he's addicted. If you leave a cup of coffee down, it's all his. Oh, Fireball, the porch is fantastic. So we moved into this house a little over a year ago, and the steps are 16 steps straight down. Well, in Colorado winter, that's not good. And they're original to the house of 2013, so there were some squishier steps, is a good way to put it. So this winter was a little treacherous since this little guy wanted me to go down to the bottom of the stairs to let him in or to pick him up and then come in. You know, he's got rules, he's got standards. So we just had our stairs replaced and we've got a nice switchback. So you're going down half the steps and then turn and go down the other half. They're sturdy, they're secure. I mean, it's like, oh, that's fantastic. And we've gotten a lot of use on this deck this year. We have a couch, 2 chairs, 2 grills because we visited my brother and we had this Traeger that's behind us as a smoking grill. And then earlier in the year, my husband and I visited my brother and he had one of those black stone flat top grills. He's a guy. My brother had one, he had to have one. So of course we have 2 grills on our deck right now. It's a guy thing, I guess, you know, whatever. So it's what it is. But yeah, this little guy's just fully expecting that rain to just come down. I'll probably have to do an escape like I did on my last live and hold everything and maybe try not to be so jerky with it and go in when the thunder and everything starts going off a little bit too much. Fun times, fun times. What is everyone working on? If you had the opportunity, you got a chance to see what I've got going on. Does anyone have anything, projects that they're working on? What do they have going on in their lives? So on my recent videos, I got to go down memory lane. One of the things, Cinnamon Stitches, Jennifer, if you don't watch her, you should. She's funny. I've been watching her for a lot of time. I don't know if it's years or months or what, you know, I've been watching her for quite some time. Hi, Rose. How you doing? Yeah, it's definitely a guy thing. Rose is talking about the grills. Definitely a guy thing. So all the tagging and oh yeah, Carrie's working on blankets, definitely. So all the tagging that went on had people looking into their stashes looking for vintage patterns or vintage yarns or what's your oldest supply. Since so many people really picked up the art, well, Fireball's working on his vehicle, 60 Chevrolet brand truck, he said bread, but I think he meant brand truck. But they picked up crafting and working on everything as far as that goes during the pandemic. So maybe they don't have older supplies, but it's kind of neat to see some of these things, and it hit me pretty hard. going through some of those magazines. I showed a couple of them that I remember the most as a kid. I learned how to do the thread crochet at a very young age, preteen. And working, Rose is working on a mystery knit-along, the Casapinka mystery knit-along. Yeah. So, oh, okay, Fireball's truck was used for milk and bread, a milk and bread truck. Okay, so like a delivery truck. But the knit-along, the Casapinka knit-along, multiple different clues as far as that. They drop in a different interval. They're using 4 100-gram skeins of fingering weight yarn. Is that how you say your name? Is it Kivia? Kivia Brown? I'm not sure. I'm not trying to massacre the name. That's why I didn't say anything before. But welcome aboard. So on the mystery long, that's a neat one because you don't know what you're making. So they've got this pattern and just clues. And on the Casapinka stuff, not only do they have the patterns, and here's your next section of the pattern, and it'll give the directions. It has a funny storyline to go along with it. So you've got this humorous book reading, a very just interesting, quirky type of a pattern and everything that goes along with it. So it's a whole immersion experience. And I think Rose and Coral are both working on that right now. I wanted to, but I have a lot of other things, and I got called out on the socks. It's a thing. I got called out on those socks. I bend down a little bit. I do have my sparkly socks here. I have, this is easier to knit in the round. Let's see, Bears Crochet Critters, welcome. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, yes, I've got the dragon. I left the dragon blanket upstairs. I had to pull out the one, oh, puppy, don't eat my yarn. I had to pull out the white row. It was funny. My husband was watching that video this morning, and he doesn't always have the sound up, but he did this morning, and it was, when he watched that, he came into the bathroom while I was getting ready for work, and he said, I spotted it before you said anything. I spotted the error. Like, I'm sure a lot of people did. I know Kevin had commented in the comments that he also spotted it. So a lot of people spotted it before I did. I didn't notice it until on camera. I'd like to think that I would have noticed it at the end of the row because it's not the first time I've done that. But that's a lot to pull out. So I pulled that out. I've got to put the white row back in. So it's sitting upstairs right now. But and everyone's saying hello to each other, which is nice. But yeah, I had that. It's funny how many mistakes I'm making. I guess we all make mistakes, no big deal. You just work on it. So I was gonna get my knitting out. Come here, puppy. Come on. Come on. That weather's coming in. He's not a fan. Come here, baby. Come here. No, you don't want him here? You want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? He's looking at me like I'm an idiot. It's okay. He's kind of a judgmental little puppy. We got him, and he was like this close to being feral. I mean, he wasn't really feral, but he had a very tough beginning of his life, and we are working through that. We've had him for over a year now, and he's just now coming around. He is. He'll, with the storms, it's like, yep, I want protection, I want love, that type of thing. See, look at this, look, I got a sparkly sock, look at that. Let me see before I get too carried away and start making something too long. I was gonna put the heel on a little bit sooner, and then my husband said, what are those, short little girly socks? Really? He doesn't knit, he doesn't know, but he does know how to push my buttons. That he does. I think that goes with being married for 32 years. Let's see, how far am I? Okay, on to this one, see? So I got the different lengths, yeah. So I am doing these 2 at a time using my double pointed needles because that's my preference for double point. I think it's great that there are so many different options for doing socks. I have recently had some issues with not paying attention or tension issues and making mismatched socks or just losing one or forgetting what I'm doing with it. So I thought if I did them 2 at a time, I would alleviate some of those issues. At least that was my thought process, so we'll see. I don't know. It's a thought, it's a thought. Do you guys knit socks, or am I the only weirdo that knits socks? I mean, it's not totally weird, right? I mean, they're nice. They feel great. Have you ever had a pair of hand knit socks? Worn a pair of hand knit socks? My family definitely enjoys theirs, no doubt. So the grandkids want them too. The newest new yarn video was ground beef you buy from the grocery store. So yeah, that one was the Eddie Bauer brand of yarn. Yeah, it did kind of look like that since I threw the red skein up there, that it could have been a meat product or what have you. And we were talking about that one of marketing and name brands. Hi, Vivi. So my sister's on and she's telling me to get out of the rain. It's not raining yet. I panned the video around Vivi a little bit earlier where one side I've got to the left of me, it is the brightest, bluest sky with some big fluffy white clouds. Hi, Camper 14. And right behind where you guys can see, it is dark and ominous, and it's just like, it's coming. Now, let me see, behind me it's still pretty bright. It's coming. We have had afternoon rains. So one of the things that we did, my husband and I decided we wanted to have some more fun activities with the kids and the grandkids. We have this, so Bears Knits has done socks and doing the magic loop. I've not done magic loop on my socks yet, because that to me is fiddly. I think it's fantastic that it's an option, but I just like my double points. So we decided for Memorial Day, we wanted to have a fantastic movie night and everything. Our yard is a 1/4 acre yard, so in a subdivision, that's a big yard. And, green grass, whole 9 yards, great views. So we got a big blow-up screen. Well, my husband, didn't really let him, I make it sound worse. But my husband picked out the screen and the projector that we were gonna use. And maybe I should have kind of like looked at it a little bit, but whatever. 20 foot. We got this Memorial weekend. We haven't had a chance to use it. Okay, remember, Colorado, high desert, like no rain, dry? No, it has been raining the whole time. It is just constant raining. So Camper 14, knitting, crocheting, it's using the yarn in any way, shape, or possible. So Camper 14's new to knitting but likes to crochet. I started with crocheting, do both now. One day, and it might or it might not, a pattern or something will come across to you that you can't 100% mimic in crocheting, and that will spur you on to maybe taking that jump into knitting. That's what did it for me. I loved all the textures, the bumpy bits and everything, and I was already doing popcorns. We know I love bubbles. I was already doing a lot of popcorns and everything in my crocheting, and I could do cables and crocheting. But crocheting takes, ooh, you can hear that coming? Crocheting takes 30% more yarn than knitting. So when I would crochet a sweater and then I would do cables on top of it, you had yarn on top of yarn. That's okay, Fireball. You don't have to knit or crochet. You can be here. It's just a beautiful place to be, There you go. And next time you see a ball of yarn, when you go someplace, you go shopping and you see yarn wherever, you can think about this channel and all the nice people. So forgot what I was saying. I just got sidetracked. Just watching all the stuff. I don't know. I'm totally gone. Help me out. What was I talking about? I'm gone. I don't know. My puppy's over here, just working on stuff. Oh, so as far as the knitting, it does take a lot less yarn to do. So for me, when I was working on the crocheted sweaters, which I did make for my husband, someone reminder. So when I did make my husband a crocheted sweater with lots of cables and everything, it was really heavy. And he's a hot-blooded individual, and he wasn't comfortable. Hey, buddy, don't eat my yarn. He didn't want to wear that, and it doesn't bend and move to the same degree that your knitting does. So that finally spurred me on to where I really wanted to learn that in earnest. See, that's what I did. I learned the crocheting when I was 10, and that was definitely my love. And I did teach myself the knitting stitches as a preteen, and I made, hey buddy, good boy. And I made a little baby doll bunting, and The instructions talked about reversing your shaping, and I didn't really know what that meant. So both pieces, because it was done in 2 halves, were the exact same. So when I sewed it together, one side was purl and one side was knit, which is definitely a fashion statement now, but back in the 80s that wasn't. So I wasn't really happy with that. I didn't want to make 2 pieces. Knitting was really slow and not as forgiving as crocheting for me. So I ignored it for a couple of decades. I mean, I finished that piece, but I didn't really knit anything until about 25 years ago when I saw something that was just so heavily cabled that I picked up needles, and I've been knitting ever since and working on that. It's just a lot of fun. I like the fact that it's like painting with yarn, right? You know, does anyone else look at it along that line? Whether you're knitting or you're crocheting, you're creating something. Um, you know, working with your hands and being able to make something. And you know, it doesn't matter if you're doing that with just a yarn medium. You know, if you're doing clay and working on pots, if you're out in the yard and working on gardening, or like Fireball is working on a vehicle, you're creating something, you're making something happen with your own hands. And I just think that there's like a connection on the inside of us that really resonates, and that's always been mine. And I like the smile it brings to people's face. I like making useful things, but I also like making quirky things, and people will look at it and go, what the heck is that for? Because I could, right? You know, I mean, think about it. Most of the stuffed animals that anyone ever makes, you know, why? You know, I'm like, it's stuffed animal. Why make it? Because you can. You know, why? Like the little items that people hand out for random acts of kindness. You can make little crocheted critters and things along that line. It's the same thing. Why would you do that? Because you can. And I just enjoy that aspect of anything yarn related, is that's because I can do it, because it makes people smile. I like to make people smile. I like that connection. And it's also a good opener. When you can make something and show somebody that and show them what they can do, it gives another connection on a human level with people, and I've always enjoyed that too. How do you guys either crochet or knit? So you can see my hands and everything. All my stuff is in my left hand. I know it's not close up, we're not backwards, but you can see I'm not doing what they call throwing with my right hand. So I do the continental knitting, picking, so it's a lot quicker. I think I've discussed that before with my crocheting. I hold my crochet hook like a pencil grip, so those beautiful fancy furls hooks that everyone goes nuts over, I can't see them working for me, which is cool because the Susan Bates hooks are a lot cheaper, right? See, there you go. So I could buy more yarn. You're spending money on hooks, but then again, I get it on the knitting needles because I spend a lot more money on knitting needles. So I guess it all works out. I don't know. Oh, it's fun. So, is anyone else working on socks? Bear was saying she works on a magic loop with the socks, but does anyone else have any socks on the needles right now? If so, what color are you working on? And do you make things to give them away, or do you keep all the stuff for yourself? It's not selfish, by the way. You can make things for yourself, and that's not selfish. It's okay. I've been making a lot of things for myself, which is why I got called out that I need to make socks. Pandemonium will ensue. Akin to kids being told there's no Christmas. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. It's fun times. Yes, Fireball, I do make scarves. I do. In the wintertime, I'll make more scarves. I tend to make a lot more hats, and I give them away. I think last year with some of the leftover sock yarns and things like this, I would double them up and make projects and give those out. I'll just get that feeling that someone needs a hat and just hand it to them. But I did about 30 hats last year. I do make scarves, just not as many because I don't really use, well, because I already have a bunch myself. And then shawls also. I really like doing a lot of the shawls. I've got one that I'm working on right now. It's part of the Thursday projects. But I like the knitted shawls too with all the different colors, and I like to add sparkle, like this is sparkle obviously. I'll do that. All right, camper, we'll be here. So yeah, Rose, I know Rose says 95% of her gifts or her projects are gifts. And I think Rose got called out last year for not making a bunch of hats. Let's see, Lori made knitted socks on a knitted loom. I've not done that. So is that one of the smaller pinned looms is that like a 40 peg or something along that line on worsted weight? Is that what you're doing on those? For the knitted loom socks? And how do you do your heel? Or do you just make tube socks? I've done tube socks before too. I like the heel flap and gusset as the fit the best for me personally. Choices. There are so many different styles for doing a particular pair of socks. It is such a utilitarian type thing. A lot of people are like, well, why would you make socks? Go to Walmart and spend $5 and get a ton of them. Okay, so Bear says, most of what I make goes to other people in my life, or I hold on to them until you find the right. See, Bear, I do the same thing. Sometimes somebody is deserving, not really deserving, and Lori says she uses a 24 peg loom for her socks. So sometimes I'll make things ahead of time. Well, I do that often. And the right person will come along. You'll get that feeling that you recognize them, that piece, that article, whatever it is that you made, has just found its home. And a lot of times the piece will tell me where it needs to go, and then I'll do that. Or the person will ooh and ah over it in just the right manner, and it'll kind of resonate. You know, if you're a crafter, and you know most of us are here, you know the people who are knit worthy and crochet worthy, and that doesn't mean that they're not good people. That's not what that statement means. Some people just don't really understand all the work that goes into this, and they don't have a real good appreciation for it, and that's fine. You know, everyone's different. And for those people, then you would buy them their gift, or give them something else. You wouldn't put forth all of the hours and the energy for a handmade item, at least not a second time. Most of us find out that somebody's not, as it's dubbed, knit worthy or crochet worthy, after we've given them something we've spent so much of our hard time on, energy and love, only to be thrown in a closet or donated or never used or something along that line, just because they don't appreciate it. So Bear prefers the toe up and the GSR heel, but first couple of pairs were cuffed down. See, my first pair was cuffed down, and that's how I learned it, and I've stuck with it. I love the aspect of going toe up, especially when you're not sure on how much yarn you have. I do have a kitchen scale that helps out immensely. I'll weigh the 2 balls of yarn or something like that to where I can split it in half. But I think I just do to cuff down because it's what I learned first and I'm comfortable with it. And I've not gotten, I know there's Judy's Magic Loop and, you know, the stretchy bind off and everything else, but all the other bind offs don't look like this and stretch like this when I do it. Maybe when you do it and you're better at it than I am, but I like the way that looks as a close off. So when I go toe up and then bind off here as opposed to casting on, I don't have that look. And it'll be more flared out. It'll be more like that most of the time. And I don't like that. I know you can't tell when you're wearing it. It doesn't matter. It's just, it's in my head. It's me. It's quirky. What are you gonna do? It's okay. I'm a little quirky. Maybe. Maybe I'm a lot quirky. If my sister could type on the TV better, she'd be telling you how quirky I am. So I called her to let her know that I was on so she could join in. That's what she was gonna do. She's gonna type at me and tell me to get out of the rain. Because last time we were in the rain. It's getting darker over there behind us. It is. It's getting a lot darker. It is so crazy. Let's see if I can move this around without making everyone motion sick. It is so crazy how bright. Let me go like this. Oh, there we go. Can we see how bright it is? I'm gonna stand up. Ugh. Maybe if I don't fall down. All right. But it is so bright behind me. It is just, You know, as we're changing, I'm trying to go slow so I don't make people motion sick. Look how dark that is. Look at that. And that's what I'm talking about. So we're getting rain. It's gonna happen. It's just like when. But yeah, if you're not familiar with it, so I was still trying to. Laura, you live in Colorado too? Yeah, it isn't that crazy. So if you're not used to this type of a thing, I was born and raised in Michigan, and it's a different weather pattern. Well, besides the cold and everything, we know, you know, you hear about Michigan, the snow, and there's not a joke, it's snow. But it would rain, and it's fine. You can see the rain. But here, you can see it raining in the distance, and you can see the rain coming down, but it's not on you. Like earlier when I was driving home, I could see that darkness that's behind us right now, and I could see the like lines. It looks like a little kid's drawing or a little kid's painting. You can see the lines coming down. Yeah, I'm in Colorado. But you see those lines coming down. In Michigan, when it was raining, you couldn't see like in the next county over that it's raining. But here you can. So, you know, I'm driving home like, oh, I'm gonna do a live until I get rained on. You know, and then I thought about just putting everything to where I've got that bright, beautiful blue right behind me, sky. You know, when you've got the ominous right to the other side. It is really crazy. And then sometimes if you're going up and you're driving into the mountains, if the clouds are down low enough, you can drive into the clouds. Yeah, so there's just some different things. I'm gonna see if I can put this back up here without, you know, like making problems. But there's different things going on. Maybe, nope. It says no. I'm learning. I've got this little clip connection thing, but I've got something on the back of my phone case too, and it doesn't want to hold on because it's in the way. There, I got it. Yep, so I don't know how it is where you're at, but I definitely know with those two places, it's definitely huge differences on that weather pattern and how things work out. You know, it's fun. Hey, did anyone after I showed this last time go on Amazon try to find it? No, I don't have any affiliate links. Amazon showed me that, hey, you need one of these bags. And of course I did. Oh, cloudbursts are super cool. They are. Yep. Yeah, we've got a lot of people that are, you know, used to the Colorado weather and everything. But yeah, I thought this was funny. Amazon said I needed this bag, and it was really, really pretty, this little backpack. So I ended up getting one for myself, and then two for myself because they had different colors. And then I got a couple for my friends because they were really cute, and Amazon kept telling me I needed it. But again, not affiliated with anyone. They're just really pretty. Oh, and different colors, they're like 20 bucks. I mean, you know, oops, dropped my sock. So there's lightning behind me. I can see it going down. Rose, did you get your bag? Did you get one? Did you actually order one? I showed her that too. You know, like, yeah, it's really pretty. It's actually really good quality too. You know, I should have an affiliate link, but I don't have any affiliate links. Yep. Oh, you were just in, you know where? I'm going to be in Fort Collins. I am. There's a knitting retreat. I am going to, the instructor is Galena, and I can't pronounce her last name real well, but she's Russian, and she is teaching the Russian lace knitting, Orenburg lace. And I was fortunate enough to be in Loveland and take a class with her, and she has a retreat towards the end of the month, and I'm going to a bed and breakfast, and I'll be there for 3 days, total immersion, working on traditional Russian Orenburg lace. So I'm really excited about that. That's a slow process, you know, so there you go. Yep. Oh, Rose ordered one of the bags. What color bag did you order, Rose? Did you get the black one with the blue embroidery? That's what I got my sister. It was the black with the blue and the purple embroidery. She gets lots of compliments on it. They're just really cute. I don't know. When you see something that's fun and inexpensive, you share. It's just what you do. So has anyone else been on a knitting retreat? This will be my first one. I'm so excited. And then I could, let's see, sounds lovely. May you learn lots. Oh, I'm definitely going to learn a lot from it. Do I have a yarn store in Boulder? Well, the Boulder yarn store, that one of them closed. Yeah, there's Maverick, which is like right outside of Boulder, I just went for that with Rose and Coral on the yarn crawl. So that one's closed, but the big one that was in Boulder, I think that one finally closed. Yes, there were the yarn crawl in Colorado about 5-6 years ago. I don't know how many years, maybe it's more than that, Rose will correct me, had 22 stores. And 9 days, the object was to go to all the different stores if you chose to, right? And it's similar to a pub crawl, you know, for alcohol, only with yarn, you know, so you didn't need to worry about it. You know, you were always a sober driver. Yep. Yep. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, a lot of yarn stores didn't make it. But not all of them went out of business because of finances. Some people just wanted to retire. You know, so they didn't have somebody else that was willing to purchase it or something along that line. So they ended up closing for that reason, because they were ready to move on with the next place part in their lives. So can't begrudge someone like that, right? You know, they enjoyed it, do what you would like to do and move on. And that's what they were doing. So can't beat that. It's fun stuff in life. Ooh, there goes another one, lightning. Maybe I should turn around so then you can see the impending storm, right? Yeah. Yeah. Retirement's the usual cause of people closing yarn stores. Yeah, there's been quite a few that was the reason why. I know the yarn store that's here in Castle Rock, it's a alpaca store and yarn store, everything alpaca, nice place to go to. I think when they close, it will be due to retirement. She's already commented on that, that when her and her husband want to retire, then that'll be the case. So I can't begrudge her. I mean, you know, you want to, you've made it to that point in your life. You've got your finances in order, and you want to spend time with the people you love and do the things that you want to do. Yep. Yeah, I can see that with the fabric stores too. So Jerry, do you sew also? My mom made quilts. I mean, beautiful quilts. They were fantastic, and it always surprised people because my mom was legally blind since '71, but she was great with colors. I mean, the Lord gave her a gift. There is no doubt about it. You know, and people didn't realize that she really couldn't see. And it was interesting too, because they used to joke, like when I'd first as a young girl going out on a date, you know, holding my date's hand and everything, as we would come up to a curb, I would always tell them to step up, step down, or things along that line, because that's what I would do with my family, right? You know, that was just a normal or a natural, because my mom couldn't see, and you know, that's just what you do with a blind person. So I was just so accustomed to that. You know, I'm telling my date when to step up at the curb, you know, that type of thing. I thought it was polite. I don't know. It just seemed like the right thing to do. You don't want them to pump into the curb. I mean, come on. It's being thoughtful. Yeah. It's what you do. It's what you do. Yeah. So Jerry's made memory bears, mostly family clothing. So boxes come to my house. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the memory quilts and things out of the clothing of somebody that you'd once loved. We've done things like that. I know I've had that request of, hey, can you do all these things with these t-shirts and stuff? Even my husband wanted me to do that with all of his older t-shirts. It didn't happen. He wanted me to, but I didn't. But I know my mom has done that. She did a lot of those types of things too with the memory quilts. We have a lot of her quilts. My mom, not only did she make the quilts, she hand sewed them, and then she also hand quilted them. She made quilts for all of the grandchildren, and she made like 4 or 5 for each of the kids. Or like my nephew Tyler, he said, well, I'm gonna have 5 kids. Well, he doesn't have any kids right now, right? And my mom's already passed, but he's like, I'm gonna have 5 kids. So you know, she made him 5 baby blankets and had his name on them, wrote his name on them, and put them away. So he has those that he'll pass out to his kids. Yes, I have been, Lori, we have been to Piney Creek. Are you part of the Christmas Club for the Piney Creek? Hi, Chris. I'm not, but Rose and Coral are, and you might have met them in person if you go over there. It's true. And I'm not, because, you know, for some reason I forget that the 25th of each month falls on the 25th of each month, and that's when the Christmas Club is, the 25th. I know, it's just, you would think that'd be an easy thing to figure out. Not so much. Last order was 25 bears. No, oh, the memory bears. Yep. That's a lot. 25, that's a lot. That's a lot of anything to make, all one type. Oh, I think I'm losing track. I'm gonna make one side too long again. Let's see. Am I there? It's red one, 1, 2, 3, 4, red, red. Oh, one more. Okay, one more stripe. Gonna mess them up again. I don't know. It's just knitting. It's okay. One can be a little longer, maybe. No, I'd fix it. That I would fix, maybe. I don't know. I think I should put a bobble in everything since I joked about that. I should do that. Hi, Heather. Welcome aboard. But yeah, I think maybe a bobble or something. I put that as a joke that I secretly put a bobble in everything. I think that would be kind of funny, you know? Lori's only part of the crochet group called Crochet Ladies Fire Station 14. Okay. Is that far from Piney Creek? I used to work up in the Buckley area, and not just yarn, they just closed, and it was interesting because they moved in right after I took a job someplace else. I mean, I worked at Buckley, you know, and that Not Just Yarn was right around the corner. But they opened right after I no longer worked at Buckley. Okay, in between Aurora and Parker is where Lori has her knitting group. So I thought that was interesting. We finally get a yarn store over there, but she just closed the store down too, and not because of financial reasons, but just different things in life, health issues or what have you. So she's going on to take care of herself. But I think the yarn store itself did quite well, but she was just in a different place in her life. So wishing her well. You know. I think you're right though. A lot of people with their yarn stores and the fabric stores, when they open them, they're later in their years, i.e. not in their 20s, maybe a little bit senior, closer to retirement age. It's kind of a second career thing that they've always wanted to do. So it makes sense that when they close down, it's because of, I'm done working completely. I'm out of the business. I don't know. Although we did have, here in Colorado, we had a yarn store quite a while ago, and the owner was absolutely wonderful. She was just such a wonderful woman, and it was the funniest thing because she didn't know how to knit, and she didn't know how to crochet, and she didn't really know how to do anything with yarn. All she knew was it was really, really pretty, and she wanted a yarn store. That was the funniest thing ever. I mean, just did not know a thing about the product that she was selling. That was... and the owner. That was funny. Yeah, that's so she got a good group of customers. We kept coming in and we are trying to give her advice on yarn and different things. Can you imagine opening a business and not knowing anything about it? Oh, okay, so Jerry's only is that G-E-R-I? I can't tell because I'm on the thing. Yep. Yeah, see, Lori, that's a passion for pretty yarn. It's like fabric of jewelry. I mean, when you look at some of this yarn, is that not the akin to jewelry? And then you put a stitch marker on it, you got some bling on it. I mean, that's like fiber jewelry, right? Especially if you get into some of these hand-dyed yarns. Well, some of them nowadays, I think you could get jewelry less expensive. Let's put it that way. Some of them are pricey. The supply chain, this, that, and everything else, I think their raw materials have gone up drastically. It used to be a skein of hand-dyed fingering weight yarn would be anywhere from $20 to $25, right? And now, a lot of times, it can be $30 to $40. So that's a huge difference. And that kind of, you know, edges some people out to being able to use such fine materials. And that's why the big box stores exist. So we can all have fun at whatever level we can afford. So that works out well. And I think that's another reason why I've collected and curated yarn. Oh, you use brown sheep? Okay, yeah, I like brown sheep yarn. So I did do some felting back in the day, not so much anymore. Oh, my battery's getting low. Let's see, into buying your own sheep. Oh, no, 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 I am not buying sheep. No. I'm in an HOA community. They won't even let us have chickens. My husband's like, can we sneak them in? Pretty sure the neighbors would notice. He's like, well, if we don't get any roosters, yeah. But you've seen my puppy. He's already a confirmed killer and has gotten 2 rabbits, which, you know, I mean, hey, it's nature, right? You know, I mean, I'm not going to feed him rabbits, but if he catches them on his own, well, that's him. Yeah, if we had actual live birds in the neighborhood, in there, I'm pretty sure he'd figure out a way to get into it. If you saw the last live and going after me when I had a cup of coffee, I don't think chicken wire would keep him out. It's just, I don't know that for a fact, but I wouldn't want to try it. Yeah, see, that's what I would think, Heather, is they would be lunch, you know? I'm like, it doesn't matter what kind of little coop that you wanted to rig up, you know? I don't think the two dogs would go after him, but I think that that puppy sure would. He's just a different breed. He was born a little differently. I think he was out on the plains, and he might have had to survive on his own, let's put it that way, when he was littler. Yep. Hi, Yolanda, good afternoon. Figured I'd come out here before the rain. Ooh, it's actually calmed down. It's not quite as dark behind me anymore. Let's see. Yeah, it's lighter right there, but it's not quite as dark behind where the camera is, so maybe I'm not gonna get the rain. It looked like. You hear that? Maybe I am. Can you hear that? It's not coming down yet, but it's making some noise. Definitely making noise. So we know we've got, let's see, your aunt collected their dog's hair. I've not done that. We've got the Shebas, and there is a lot of hair. There is no doubt. So we have Shebas now, and we used to, yeah, puppies think of food, chickens, food, definitely. So we used to have Akitas, and they lived a nice ripe old age before they went on, and there was a lot of hair. If we wanted to have that spun up, there was a lot of hair. And then we went to the smaller dogs with the Shebas, and they still have the double coat. Just they're like a miniature Akita, right? And they have that double coat too. Oh, he saw something. There he goes. He's gonna go harass the neighbor's dogs. If he starts going nuts, I'm gonna have to go, because that's just not a nice thing to do. Egg gather as a child. Jerry was an egg gatherer as a child. Sounds like a city kid wanting to raise chickens. Not me. Well, you know, growing up, we had chickens, and we had ducks, and we had geese, and we had a couple horses, and you know, we were just my parents were animal lovers. We didn't kill anything, right? Nothing got killed. We ate the eggs, but you know, the chickens didn't get killed for meat, the ducks didn't get killed or anything along that line. They were pets. Everything was pets. And we definitely had the chickens, and there was the wire over the top of the chicken coop too. But at one time, I remember when I was really little, an owl had gotten in anyway into the chicken coop. It got in, it had its fill, it killed a whole bunch, because you know, it's an owl, and in an encaged environment with a bunch of chickens, it's gonna run some rampage. So it killed a lot. And you know, when we went out, and you know, in the chicken coop, there's the owl in the middle of the coop. My dad had to get a way to, you know, figure out how to get it out without harming it, you know, because we're not going to kill the owl, come on, right? So getting the owl out of the chicken coop without hurting it and everything, and then trying to patch up and figure out where the owl came in at, so it can't come in again, right? And you know, not go after any other chickens. And we had all the different eggs, the colors. We had the brown eggs and the blue and the pink and the green, and it's the Araucana chickens that lay the blue, pink, and green eggs. So all of our eggs always look like they were dyed for Easter regardless. And when you did try at Easter time to dye eggs, obviously you came up with a different result, because you're not starting with white. You know, so the dyes took differently. We'd still dye them. I mean, I was a kid. My parents are like, hey, you're a kid. Here's the egg dye. Have fun. So I did. Yeah, different time periods. That's right. What is it, buddy? What? I'm not talking about you. I know, you're fluffy. He's staring at me like I'm an idiot again. It's a thing. He just kind of looks at me. He'll watch you. He'll, you know, and he'll look above and everything. And my husband walks in or walks out. He's afraid of him. He loves him, that he's alpha male, but he's afraid too. Oh yeah, he's a lovable little thing. But he'll watch. He'll stare at you, and he'll stare you down. And he's got an intelligent look about him. There's no doubt. He is a Sheba. His tail should go up. His tail does not go up. I think it was broke before we got him. So it goes up like a little hump. You know, here's his little body and everything, and it just does this little hump thing type thing when he's excited, because he can't pull it up all the way. You know, like I said, he had a rough start to life. he's our rescue puppy. He really is. You know, he had some trauma. When we first got him, it's his part of his lip right here was bit off. He had a hole through one of his ears where he was bit clean through. He had a mark and everything on his nose because he'd gotten bit there. Hey, buddy. You know, his tail doesn't go up all the way. I mean, he had a little trauma going on, you know. But he's a good addition to our family. We love him anyway. He's so cute and fluffy. We shall keep him. And my husband, all he wants to do is love on him. And he loves him for protection. If I'm not home and it's storming, well, it's not storming right now, but if it's storming, yep. Oh yeah, that puppy's definitely living his best life now. Oh really? Now he's gonna bark at the neighbor's dog? But when it's storming, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it. My husband took a picture. I wouldn't have believed him. I would have thought he was telling a story. Jumped in his lap, upstairs in his chair, and is trying to hide behind him, right? You know, just crawl behind his back. And he's normally afraid, and when we first got him, he wouldn't take steak from my husband's hand. He would not come anywhere near him. If my husband was in the room, he wouldn't take steak from me. He was literally watching my husband, waiting for him to move. So when it's like this with the storm and you can hear that, for him to be in my husband's lap, he looks at him as a protector, but he scares him. But he knows that he'll take care of him. So he's definitely living his best life. I don't know. It was funny. We were walking, all three of them, and they were on leashes. Yeah, obviously on leashes, right? You're gonna let a Sheba off a leash, man? That thing's gonna see a rabbit and you're never gonna see it again. If you didn't know, Shebas can sprint up to 35 miles an hour. You know, subscribe because you had the octopus on all the, oh, I'm loving the octopus, man. I'm telling you, I love baubles. There's no doubt about that. So it was, we're out and it is dusk and we've got all three of the dogs and we turned around and, you know, it's a long, we're in the park and it's just a long, you know, paved sidewalk, and you can hear the fingernails on the sidewalk. These two dogs, you know, about, you know, waist high or whatever, these are some big dogs. These two dogs come like just a bat out of hell, man. I mean, their fingernails, you can hear them. They are straight running as fast as they can. No leashes, no harness, no person near in sight. And we've got our three dogs with us. And the last thing that we want to do is have a dog fight or something along that line. My husband turned around and he just looked at him and just that barrel chested and, you know, just forceful. He went, "Stop! No!" Both the dogs, they turned. One of them yipped like it had gotten a hit. Nobody touched the dogs. No dogs were touched. But it yipped and it started, they both ran away. They both ran away. And Arlo, that little puppy's behind my husband and barking like, yeah, take that, he's with me, you take that, you go away. But it was funny. He looks at him as protector in that aspect, but any other times he's afraid of him. But yeah. He did. He yelled at the dogs and they yipped. You know, nobody touched them, but it was like they got hit. It was literally like somebody had hit the dog. No one touched the dog. We weren't even near the dog. The last thing we wanted was for the dogs to get into a dog fight. 3 dogs, 2 dogs, that just sounded like a mess. Nope. Hi, who knows? Welcome to the group. I'm glad that you could make it. It's just fun Colorado evening. It'll be sad when it gets more towards the cold time in winter because I won't really want to, I mean, I'll still come out on the porch, but I don't think I'll be filming on the porch, you know, doing a live out here with the snow. Maybe I can set it up, because I got a window right here. Maybe I can set everything up to where, you know, the backdrop is the window so you can see the snow coming down, or set it up in front of, we've got French doors that are right behind you. Set it up right there. It's in the kitchen, but whatever, you wouldn't see that part. You know, set it to where you can see out the French doors and everything, and that would be, oh my gosh. Who knows says that it's 102 today with the heat index of 108. Oh no. If it was 102 or 108, I don't think I'd be out here right now. I think I'd be sweltering. I don't know. Melting in the sun. No, Colorado, depending on where you're at, has very mild weather. Obviously, if you're up in the mountains, you're going to get more snow, but I am not. I am over a mile high. I'm like 6,200 feet. So if you're not used to it, you're not gonna be able to breathe. Yeah, this is my knitting temperature, right? But if you're not used to the high altitude, you're not going to be able to breathe well. It will make a difference. Or if you come visiting to Colorado, people will do that, and then they're used to, I'm not saying alcoholic, but just like have a beer. If you're not used to the altitude and you have a beer, it's going to knock you on your backside. It's going to get you. Or what they'll do is they'll come visit Colorado. And again, I'm above a mile high. I'm above the Denver Broncos Stadium. So I'm over that mile high height, which is 5280. 5,280 feet is a mile high, just to let you know if you didn't realize that. Yeah, and yeah, 108 degrees, no way. So already above a mile high, and then they'll go up to Breckenridge or Aspen or one of these other ski towns, which is a lot higher, and they don't realize the oxygen level. And all the little tourist places in these places, they sell canned oxygen, and they do it for a reason. And if you're not from here, you should probably take advantage of that canned oxygen. I'm just saying, if you ever visit Colorado and you're not in shape to begin with, because, well, whatever, buy the canned oxygen, pay the money. It will help you, and stay away from the alcohol. Just don't do it. Nothing against drinking. Don't do it while you're here. If you're not used to that altitude, it will affect you in ways that you're not used to. Definitely will get you. You'll get tired a lot faster. Make sure that you're hydrated if you ever come here. Yep. Heather, yes, I'm in Texas. That's the 3rd week. Yeah, Texas. Who knows is in Texas, and that is just hot. Oh, Rose has to go and cook dinner. Rose, you're not going to have a family member cook dinner? What? You're cooking, or are you just going to go eat with them? Like, what? I kind of have to cook dinner too. I don't know. And we've got, let's see, what do we have laid out today? We have hamburger and we have liver. Does anyone know how to make liver? I'm not against liver. I've eaten it. But I know you have to cook it the right way. I don't know if I know how to do that. I don't know if I've made liver. I've got onions. Isn't that what everyone always does? Liver and onions, right? Is that always the thing that we think of? So I have that. You have any ideas? Because it's thought out. We should make it. This is the first year we bought a cow. Not a full cow. We got a quarter cow, and we have that in the freezer, and that was some of the stuff. So we've got liver, and we got some of the heart. I don't know how to cook the heart either, but we're gonna, right? Because we have it. Liver and lots of sauteed onions. Yeah, but Jerry, and that's what I've always heard of, and I've had liver and onions before too, and if you cook it right, it's fantastic, and if you overcook it, it's tough. I do know that, but I wasn't sure, like, with the different seasonings. I'll Google it. Just didn't know if you guys had any ideas on anything specific for that, or especially heart, beef heart. We don't have that one thought out right now, but I do have some beef heart, and I know organ meat is really good for you, high in iron and all sorts of other stuff. So I'll be doing that. We were at the farmer's market the other day, and they were talking, I don't know how to do it, but she was talking about what people will do with the beef liver is make pastrami out of it. That sounds like it'd be interesting, right? To learn how to do that. I've never done that. I mean, we make our own bread. I grind my own wheat and we make our own bread. So I mean, I do some fun stuff. I cook for a lot of years, make my own food. None of my kids, got poisoned. They all lived, so I did something right. Yeah. So you're at 2,500 feet in California, and we go up to the Donner Summit at 7,000 feet, and you had nausea. Yeah, you'll get nausea if you're not used to that. I mean, it's just that altitude will get you. When we first moved here in Colorado, it was, decades ago. We've been here for like 24 years, something like that. With the kids going to school, and it was walking to school, they bounce back. It was like nothing. Kids don't feel anything. They're so resilient. And it's walking them to school, and I'm like this, I can see you. Just keep going. So I'm walking with them. They're walking, and I'm like a block behind it by the time they made it to school, but I can still see them. So I didn't just let them go, right? But I'm like, okay, I'm dying. I can't go around the block. It really affects. So when you see that on TV and you talk about athletes go to high altitude to train, that's no joke. It's a reason. I never understood it, right? It's kind of like when people talk about going into the ocean and salt water, until I'd actually been to an ocean and experienced what salt water is like, you don't, you don't really understand. You don't have that full gravity. Or being in the salt water, if you've ever swam in the ocean, that salt is buoyant, right? I can tread water in the ocean better than any lake. You know, I mean, that helps to keep you buoyant, right? It's really interesting. It's things that you don't realize until you experience. Okay, high altitude and salt water. I don't know, but at least I've had the experience, and I've had the blessings to be able to have had both. You know, was in Hawaii for a while. Our middle son was born in Hawaii, so we got to swim in the ocean, and that was really, you know, it's kind of neat. And you're snorkeling with the ocean. You know, it's kind of cool. And who knows, found his happy place in Texas. But I'm telling you, you know, I know you have your happy place, and I get that, but I don't think I'd count it as a happy place on the hot days that you're talking about. 102 with 108 heat index. Whew. I mean, did you get used to that? I mean, do you have rolling brownouts and stuff because, you know, everyone's trying to use AC with that type of temperature, or are you just acclimated to it? I don't know. I would think you'd have to get acclimated to a certain extent. Yeah, I'd melt too. I would be. I mean, no, no. It'd be like menopause constant, right? You know, or whatever. It'd just be, you know, you sweat walking into the car and getting back in, and heaven forbid if you have leather seats in your car. Yep, that's too hot. So once I flew, Jerry said, once I flew to Durango Airport and ate at a restaurant. I missed the rest of it because I don't have my iPad up, so sorry about that. I tried to catch it. I meant to pull my iPad up, but you know, I forgot on that. Ooh, it's changed. Right behind me is beautiful bright blue. We've got some dark clouds right over here and the beautiful blue behind me. So it looks like I might be missing the rain. Nice. So that works out well. Yeah, I've gotten used to it here for 12 years. I'm originally from Massachusetts. Nope. I was in overhead plane. That's probably coming from Buckley. Military plane. All the kids born in Hawaii, I'm so glad we're having this visit. Let's see. Oh yeah. I don't know what they're doing, it's military planes. It's flying a little low for, you know, being in a residential neighborhood, and it's a little bit farther out from Buckley, but yeah, those are military planes just kind of hanging out. I am not a fan of the heat, and I'm definitely not a fan of like that bitter cold, the wet cold. Like Michigan had a very wet cold, obviously, because of the Great Lakes and all the moisture. I was in Maryland a couple years ago for their winter. Not a fan at all. Nope. That's a wet, bitter cold that just, it seeps in your bones, you know, and just, That's one thing we've talked about it here in Colorado. You know, if we were to move, where do you move? And I'm sure most people, wherever their home is and they've spent most of their life, they're like, this is where I'm going to stay. Or this is the best place. And to them it is, which makes sense. But for us, where are we going to go? Massachusetts, another wet cold. And yep, wet cold, wouldn't like it, but great sweater. Yeah, I like the sweater weather, but wet, I don't deal with that. I look like a little chihuahua, you know, those little hairless dogs and everything outside with all the cold and they're shivering. That's pretty much how I look when it gets cold like that, you know, and that hurts your back. You start shivering for too long, you have backaches you didn't know you were supposed to have. I mean, nope. But we've talked about that. It's like, well, if you were to move, because we've been here for 23, 24, going on 24 years, something like that, more than we've been anywhere else in our lives. It's like, where would we go? What state? Yeah. For that matter, we look at it, now that my husband's retired and I've got more vacation time, where would we travel to? Where would we want to go? I mean, have you seen my view? I mean, this is just my backyard. Let me see if I can turn the camera again. This is just my backyard, right? That's it. I mean, we don't need to go anywhere. I mean, what is, you know, we've also talked about, well, how about we do a bed and breakfast, right? Let's do something. That's the neighbor's little yippy dog. It's a cute puppy. It's not a puppy, but I mean, it's one of those little dogs. You know, it was like, Well, where do we go? If we want to go on vacation, where do we go? Normally, let's do a bed and breakfast. Well, when I looked them up and everything like VBRO or something else like that, or someplace that we could drive to, it's always beautiful view. Well, if you want a beautiful view, what is that a night? 250, 275, you know, if you want to go up into one of the ski towns, more than that. I'm like, but I have a beautiful view. Okay, you know, and it's like, oh, but you have all this. I mean, I have a yarn room in this house and I have a beautiful view. I'm like, I think I'll stay. So that's been the extent of our travel. Every time I bring up to my husband, I'm like, well, where do you want to go someplace for the weekend? And then we'll both come out here and we'll sit on the back deck in the porch and we look at that view. Okay, we don't need to go anywhere. And yeah, we've got houses behind us, but we're up above them and I can just, you know how you can get nose blind to something and you can't really smell it anymore? I get eye blind to it and I'm like, I don't see that. All I see are the rolling hills. I see all the green. I see the beautiful blue sky. I see all that. And I'm like, well, what else do you want? I mean, you go to a hotel, you can see like the neighbors' windows, right? Like, that's no fun. No. We have everything here. So I guess we'll just not travel and I'll buy more yarn. I guess we actually had that discussion. It was just, how about we don't travel? He does his stuff. He plays Warhammer, which is like the D&D type games. You know, you have the little model figs like this. Now they're plastic. They used to be like a lead base. And he will cut them out of their containers and glue them together and shape them and mold them. And I mean, they are fantastic. Do the hot springs. Well, we did the hot springs in Glenwood and my husband's like, been there, done that. Because I set it up for a weekend. I'm like, well, let's go up to Glenwood. Actually, I had time off and I was going to go during the week so it wasn't crowded. And I set that up and then I think it was like 2 days before, he's like, I'm not feeling it. Okay. You know, he's like, you know, I mean, he's like, look, I'm in the hot springs for 10, you know, the whatever, for like 10 minutes, I'm done. And then how many hours did we drive to get up there? He's like, I'm done. I don't want to. I'm like, okay. So we discussed it and he's like, well, instead of going on vacation and doing that, how about you go have fun with your yarn and I'll go have fun with my D&D stuff and we'll just play with our hobbies. So that was our agreement. Yeah. I think traveling wise, we talked about on our 30th wedding anniversary, we want to go to Ireland because for us, that's the exotic. Most people in America will talk about the thing that they want to do is go to Hawaii because that's the biggest stretch goal, out of reach type of a thing for them, right? You have to get on a long plane ride. It's quite a ways to go to, you know, yeah, it's still part of the United States, but it's quite the drive, or not drive. Yeah, that'd be funny. And man, that dog is just not shutting up. They just let it out to bark. So Hawaii is that big thing, but we were in Hawaii for a couple of years, so that we, you know, that's kind of a been there, done that. Like Hawaii, it was fun, but we didn't need to, you know, go for that one again. Oh, there's a yarn shop near the hot springs. Okay, that's, see, now you're speaking my language, right? We can go to the yarn shop and then do that. That's more fun. So our next stretch thing is Ireland. Now, I don't know if I would like Ireland. Ireland or New Zealand. I have no idea. But the pictures look really nice. They're exotic. They're beautiful. They're massively green. They're just gorgeous. Like, again, I have no. I assume that I would think it was gorgeous, but if we don't ever make it, it's okay. It's not like, oh, I'll die lacking. That's not it. But it was one of that stretch goals. We thought about doing it for our 30th, and then all the COVID crap, whatever, you know, the lost years. You know, I can't believe it's 2023. I mean, it's been 3 years, right? So it was during that lost years. So obviously we didn't end up going, and you know, the airlines are still just not right. They're just canceling too many flights. We have our passports. We got our passports. I mean, we were ready. You know, it's like, all right, here, we've got passports. We did everything. We were ready to go. Oh well, I'll just buy more yarn. It'd be fine. It'd be fine. There we go. Yeah, I'll leave a legacy. I'll leave a yarn room with the kids being like, what the heck am I gonna do with this? You know, I gotta get with Rose. Rose has it in her will on what she's gonna do with it. I need help. I need help. When that time comes, what happens? We don't want it to go to Goodwill, right? You know, I get it, but Need something along that line. Yeah. Well, I think that dog is annoying, and I don't know how much you guys can hear that, but if you can hear it as much as I can, this has got to be not pleasant. So I think I'm going to have to go ahead and end this because the neighbor's dog is being annoying. My puppy's being cute. I mean, look, my little guy right here, he's a cute guy, right? But yeah, he's being good. But that thing right there. Yeah. Heather says her and her husband don't travel much. Instead, wondering what the next vacation is. They'll set up and do, I missed it, I'll read it later. Yep. But Jerry, right now it's not regular. I would like to make it regular. This is my third live. I haven't figured out like a rhythm. I don't want to necessarily overlap so many of the other YouTube content creators, right? Because, you know, a lot of us follow the same people, and then you're stuck choosing who to watch, or at least watch live to have those conversations with. I just came home early. I got my boss released me a little bit early today, and it was beautiful. And I thought, you know, I think I'll sit on the deck and talk to everyone. But now the dog's annoying me, so. But yeah, I have to look at the schedules a little bit more to try to fit it in to where I'm not stepping on so many of the other wonderful creators, and we can kind of fit that in. I'd like to do this more because I like this interaction and being able to have those conversations. Right now, since I am such a small channel, I really do read every comment and I comment back and things, you know, trying to build that relationship. It's not just that person on YouTube that you see, but it's somebody you can actually know. So I enjoy this aspect of it. I think that in our time with so many people not getting out as much, you know, we have telecommuting, working from home, we don't see people as much as we used to. I think this is even more important to build friendships and build relationships, even if it is just online. So I'm enjoying this. I have met so many wonderful people, and I look forward to continuing and learning more and more about them. But I'm gonna let you go because that dog is annoying. You guys have a wonderful evening, and it's been great talking with you. Bye-bye, everybody.